Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Craig Lambert. I'm going to be leading you all through today's program. Welcome to the Wood County Veterans Memorial Dedication Ceremony and commemoration of Veterans Day. Thank you all for being here. Let us first start with the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Curtis Leach and Christine Ratch.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the national anthem.
We don't have the Assumption Band here today, but we will still all please... Okay, I'm sorry, they are here. A few of them are here. All right.
Parade, rest.
Next to that, I call on Pastor Marty Nolette from United Methodist Church for our invocation.
Let us be in a mindset of prayer as we come together to celebrate and to remember. Almighty God, creator and sustainer of life, we ask that your blessing may descend on us as we gather here today. We thank you for this opportunity to once more, in freedom, assemble to honor the veterans of our nation's armed forces. May we never forget those who made the supreme sacrifice so as to secure for our nation the blessings of life, liberty, and justice for all. And may our observance be a timely reminder that our freedom was purchased at high cost and should not be taken for granted. Bless the families and friends of those we honor today, and bless the veterans who have come home with memories, stories, tears to enrich this day. And bless all who serve throughout the armed forces, wherever they may be. We ask this in your name. Amen.
You can all be seated, please. Thank you. Marv Kolbeck is a treasured community member from Pittsville. Where is Marv? Marv? There he is. Treasured community member from Pittsville and the adjutant at the American Legion post there in Pittsville, and a veteran, obviously. I'm going to call on Marv now to come up here and make some Veterans Day remarks. And welcome, Marv. Thank you. Nice to see you again.
Thank you. Wow, I can tell my grandchildren that I spoke before
a capacity crowd. Nice to have all of you here. Got to get some of my props out. Well, it indeed is an honor to be asked to speak before this group here today. My message is a message to all living citizens of our country, and hopefully we can spread our word to people in other countries as well. 70 years ago, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed what many historians consider the greatest social legislation ever passed by the U.S. Congress. As popular as the GI Bill was and is today, it took the horrific cost and bloodshed of World War II to remind many Americans just how great a debt is owed to our veterans. In 1932, thousands of World War I veterans camped out at Washington, D.C. to petition their government for bonuses that they felt were owed. Their campsite was forcibly overtaken by the U.S. Army, and at least 2 veterans were killed by police. President Roosevelt told the American Legion National Convention in 1933, and I quote, "No person, because he wore a uniform, must therefore be placed in a special class of beneficiaries over the above other citizens," unquote. While Roosevelt would later prove himself to be a great wartime commander-in-chief, as many of you may recall, what he and others failed to realize at the time is that veterans were not asking to be part of a special class. They just wanted a shot at the American dream that they fought so hard to defend. Most Americans profess to truly love our veterans, especially at gatherings like this Veterans Day today or Memorial Day and so on. And while their feelings are usually sincere, it is important to remember that veterans are defending us 365 days a year. The heroism that has been demonstrated time and again by veterans from the American Revolution to the global war on terrorism is sometimes unnoticed by those of us who enjoy the security that their sacrifice has provided. For many veterans, our nation was important enough to endure long separations from their families, miss the birth of their children, freeze in sub-zero temperatures, bake in the wild jungles, lose limbs, and far too often lose their lives. Military spouses have had to endure a career interruption, frequent changes of addresses, and a disproportionate share of parental responsibilities. The children often had to deal with changes in schools, separation from friends, and hardest of all, the uncertainty of whether or not mom or dad will live through the next combat tour. You cannot fight a war without veterans, and while that utopian idea of a society without war is appealing, let us not forget that wars have liberated slaves, stopped genocide, and toppled terrorists. Stephen Ambrose, a great writer, once wrote, "America's wars have been like rungs on a ladder by which it rose to greatness. No other country has triumphed so long, so consistently, or on such a vast scale through the force of arms. It has been often said that without our veterans, Americans possibly could be speaking German, Russian, or Japanese. Regardless of which view you might take, we do know that without our veterans, America would not be America. And as we look at the Middle East today, we know that there is a large, dangerous, and committed group of fanatics that wants us dead. And while ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and other terrorists may lack the conventional weapons of Nazi Germany or Imperial Japan, they are every bit as evil in their intentions. Those who defend us from enemies must be supported, whether their service was in Baghdad or Beirut or wherever. We need to serve veterans as well as they serve us, even when the guns have temporarily stopped firing. Veterans don't ask for much. They do not want to be in a special class, but benefits are just a mere drop in the bucket compared to the financial and human cost of war. And while not all veterans see war, all who served in the military among you may have expressed a willingness to fight if called upon. You can show your support for these great men and women by hiring a veteran in the workplace. Companies should understand that it's smart business to hire veterans. And when members of the Guard and Reserves deploy, it is America's business to ensure that their civilian careers do not suffer. There are other ways you and I can show our support for veterans, such as visiting them in the hospitals, in nursing homes, or in their own homes. You could go to Neilsville and visit the High Ground, or the military museum that is being located in the library in Marshfield. You can fly the American flag. You can give one of these blue star banners to a family that might have a son or daughter in active duty service at the present time. You can attend parades. You can attend veterans' funerals. You can witness the honor flight, which happens 4 times a year, coming in and out of the Central Wisconsin Airport in Mosinee. You can read military books and magazines, as I have in my hands. Those of you that have served in Korea or during that term, you would want to read this book. And if you belong to various military organizations, you have magazines such as those either in your home or in libraries where they can be read. You can support all of the veterans organizations and the many fund drives that they do have. And I know my partner Dave Hahn over there, he's got tickets right now. He's selling for a big fund drive we're having at our Legion Post in Pittsville. And I know many of you other organizations are doing the same thing. So their support is needed. And last but not least, a little sticker for your car, pray for our troops. Homelessness is another issue that affects veterans disproportionately. Too often, today's tattered citizen of the street was yesterday's toast of the town. Crisp uniform and a row of shining medals. This is hardly the thanks of a grateful nation. We can do better. We must do better. Historians have said that Dwight Eisenhower was prouder of being a soldier than he was of being President of the United States. And while relatively few veterans ever reached the rank of general, pride in one's military service is a bond shared by nearly all who have served. This pride is on display on every obituary page in the country, where military service, regardless of how many decades have passed and subsequent achievements reached, is mentioned with the death notice of nearly every deceased veteran. Can any CEO or distinguished Ivy League graduate truly claim to have more responsibility than the 21-year-old squad leader who's walking the point on patrol in Afghanistan? Fewer than 10% of Americans can claim the title of veteran. Far less than 1% of our population is currently defending us in the global war on terrorism. Less than 1%. And yet, many seem intent on trying to balance the federal budget by diminishing the quality of life programs designed for the families who have already disproportionately made these sacrifices. Veterans have given us freedom, security, and the greatest nation on earth. It is impossible to put a price on that. We must remember them. We must appreciate them. God bless you all for being here. God bless our veterans, and God bless America.
Thank you, Marv. We appreciate that very much. Every year, the Veterans Memorial Committee adds names to the legacy stones out on the memorial. I'm going to call on committee member Brian Roosh to come forward now and read the names that are soon to be added to those stones outside.
Thank you. 2 names have been added to the memorial wall. Sergeant First Class Matthew Leggett was killed August 20th, 2014, after an attack in Kabul, Afghanistan. He was assigned to Headquarters Battalion 18th Airborne Corps. Keith Leach of Babcock died June 28, 2014, the result of Agent Orange in Vietnam, where he served 2 tours of duty. As I read the names today, I would ask that the families and friends of each of these names please stand and remain standing until all the names have been called. Matthew Leggett. Keith Leach. Gary L. Foles. Wayne Hockmuth. Ronald C. Hooser. Leonard E. Gisco. Donald Johnson. Thomas Langowski. Joe Parzi. Nancy Quick. Russell Reimer. Robert Sherwood. Robert A. Spice. Jason R. Spice. William Walzak. And Bruce Zimmerman. Thank you.
I'm going to call on Pastor Nolet then to come forward for our closing prayer then, please. Thank you.
May the Creator and Sustainer of all life bless our memories as we depart from here, and grant to us all grateful hearts, peaceful souls, and loving hands. And let us keep in our memories all of those who have gone before, that their sacrifice may never be forgotten. Amen.
As Mr. Roosh indicated, this past year we lost 2 service members due to their wartime service. I'd ask you to join us now as we render a rifle salute and play taps to honor their memory.
Color guard, attention. Present arms. Order, arms. Parade, rest.
That concludes our program then today, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank everyone that helped make this happen, everybody who participated in this, the Assumption High School Band, Curtis Leach and Christine Ratch, thank you for leading the pledge, all of the VFW members, the American Legion members, members of an organization that isn't on the program, the Disabled American Veterans, Chapter 55, thank you to them too. And then thank you to all of you, the friends and family members and members of this community that care about your veterans. Thank you all so much for being here, and God bless you and God bless our veterans. Thanks.